Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So, first thing, there is nothing on my face, which means that this is some sort of test. I'm going to be testing the new Maybelline Superstay foundation. It is full coverage, it is new, and it is drugstore. So without further ado, I'm just going to start getting this on my face. Now if you see anything moving behind me, I'm trying something new today. Speak of the devil. I am filming with my door open. I always have my studio door closed because of the cats, and they like to jump on the couch and they like to jump in the curtains, and it's kind of distracting, but at the end of the day, the meowing outside the door is even worse. So I figured let's give this a go and see if we can film with them. And without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so I just primed the face with my J1 Jelly Pack and my Clean Slate primer from Tarte that I always use, because when I'm testing out a new foundation, I really like to make sure I'm using my same foundation cocktail I normally do. I'm sorry, my primer cocktail, because I want it to get a fair shot. So I'm in the shade 130 Buff Beige in pretty much all Maybelline foundations. That's the shade I use. So I didn't even match this to myself. I haven't even tried it yet. So I'm just going to take that on a beauty blender and start buffing that into the face. Yeah, assuming that doesn't oxidize, I think that's going to be a good match. So I'm liking the coverage already. 2 pumps wasn't quite enough. I did have to go into 3, but usually when I do my makeup, I do use close to 3 foundation pumps. So I'm actually pretty happy with how that went in. I got a decent amount of coverage. I am going to go in with concealer. Now, I love my Shape Tape. I love my NARS concealers. However, if there's one concealer I found that plays well with most foundations, it is actually the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. My other concealers are great, but some of them don't work with all foundations. So I figured Maybelline and Maybelline will probably have the best shot at working. So I'm just going to apply my concealer and see how that works. Okay, so just looking at that, now that the concealer's blended in, I do see that it is not moving around under the concealer. The concealer's blending with it nicely. It's not really sitting on top of it. I don't know if you can see Mac just jumped up on the couch behind me. So if you see movement, it's the cat. I am liking it. I am going to quickly set this down because I do get very creasy if I don't set down my concealer pretty quickly. So I'm just going to set that down and I'll be back to contour to make sure that the powders don't really mess with the foundation too much. All right, so I baked my under eyes like I always do. I set my face down the same way I always do with the same products I always do. So I'm just going to jump into my Kat Von D Shade and Light contour palette, because something that I've noticed with certain foundations is no matter how much I set it, once I start buffing in with a brush, it just kind of tends to slough around and move and get kind of gross and muddy looking. So clean brush. I know every time I use these are not clean. So the fact that my brushes are all clean, I cleaned them so nothing's gonna get muddy. And if it does, it's the foundation's fault. So I'm gonna go into, I've actually been contouring a little dark lately just because I've been really liking this whole evening look thing. So instead of going into the middle shade, I'm gonna be going into a mix between the middle and the deepest shade. And I'm just going to contour out the cheeks. So I'm not going to say a lot of things moving around, which is really nice. I am going to contour my nose, but when I do, I want to contour my red line here, because all my contour foundation is I get this very drastic foundation that's standing off of my nose, and I'm using my G-Wave brush, and I'm taking a layer of contour shades, and I'm just going to contour my nose and see if this first foundation off. Okay, so I did not see a major issue. It's not moving around a lot under powders. It's not moving around a lot with brush movement. So I'm just gonna go quickly finish the face off camera and I'll be right back. Okay, so the rest of the face is on. Surprise, I did a neutral, glittery, smoky eye with a pop of color in the lower lash line. Big surprise. So I'm just going to go about my business for a little bit. I have probably about 7 hours or so that I'm gonna wear this. I'm not gonna be doing check-ins because I am running around and I have so much to do, but I will be back in a little bit to go over how everything went. Okay, so it has been a few hours. All of my errands and stuff are done. I also filmed another video. I did a 10 drugstore products under $10 video. I will be posting that, I think, a week from today, next Thursday. So look out for that. The one thing I will say is I am getting a little bit shiny. I mean, obviously not under the highlighter, but I'm getting a little shiny in my T-zone. And I'm just gonna powder. I don't necessarily think that getting a little shiny is a sign that the foundation didn't work, because honestly, it's been a few hours. I am really, really oily. And normally I set the face like 4 different times. I only set it once today, and that was at the end of my routine. So I usually would have gone in with 2 oil control priming sprays, and I didn't. I really wanted to just see how the makeup lasted on its own. But all in all, I'm really liking the finish. It is settling a little bit, I don't know if you can see, into the lines in my forehead, which I don't like. So something I really like to see when I am testing out a foundation is how well I can touch it up, because I don't mind if I have to touch it up. I don't mind if it's like flawless 100% or not, because as long as I can go in and fix it, then I really don't have an issue. Because there's nothing wrong with touching up. I always have a blotting paper with me. I always have a blotting powder with me. I'm never far from a mirror. Like, there's really no reason that you shouldn't be able to touch up. So I'm just going to blend that out and reset. And honestly, that looks much better already. I am gonna say that I really like this foundation. All in all, it wore really well. It did last really well on the face. I did just touch it up, but honestly, for a couple hours and how oily my skin is, I'm not complaining. So I'm gonna say that I will give this another chance. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. All in all, I will say that this foundation is a hit. If you are looking for a long wear drugstore foundation, I would say that the Superstay is really good. Now, I was saying that I'm pretty consistently 130 buff beige in all Maybelline foundations. Like, I have been using the Maybelline Fit Me sticks forever. This is like my 3rd, and I am 130. The only issue is that this oxidized a little bit. So it wasn't as true to color as I'm used to seeing out of buff beige, but honestly, it's not the end of the world going down a half shade, because I do brighten, I do layer powders, and it really doesn't look bad. Like, I've been noticing lately my foundation's a little light, so this might be pushing me to go like a half shade darker, and I'm not mad at it. So all in all, yes, it's a hit. Yes, I recommend it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.